Um, Hi Nina, I've never seen you before. Nice to meet you. Uh, um, well, it was a very strange match with strange conditions. Obviously, playing under the rain non-stop for almost two full sets. Um, it is challenging for both me and him. I thought that I had an advantage there because the conditions were slower, which allows me to return his serves because he's got the really big serves, and so I kind of kept the match under my control for most part of the two sets, and then served for the match and had a very sloppy service game. He played well, made a great passing shot to come back. You know. Um, I was stressed out in the end, obviously, but I think it was the right call to stop the match. And when I came back, I thought we were quite even actually till the last point. So I'm glad that I managed to finish off this match in straight sets. I know I can play better, and I'm gonna work tomorrow, trying to make sure I do that in 2 days.
Hi, Novak. Given that the French Open is being played just 7 months after last year's French Open, do you find that playing on clay is more taxing for you physically or mentally? And is it difficult to come back so soon after last year's Roland Garros?
Well, we all know that clay is the slowest surface in sport, and as such, it requires more physical energy from a player, but also I think mental and emotional energy as well. So I think you have to train on clay more than any other surface really to get yourself comfortable playing on it. It is also very demanding surface in terms of tactics, in terms of just constructing the point. It's not as easy to get 1-2 kind of punch play on clay as you do on other surfaces. Of course, having a big serve helps, but it's sometimes it's just really cat and mouse type of play where you have to fight for a better position on the court. Sometimes use the shots that you would not normally use on other surfaces, like this looping forehand or backhand, trying to get back in play, build your position. I mean, it's it is the surface that probably requires from a player to defend better than on any other surface. But look, I don't feel that I haven't played a lot at all, so I don't feel physically exhausted or worn out, or I don't think that's going to be a case for me coming to Paris. I'm excited to come to Paris. That's obviously the biggest goal of my clay court season, and I'm hopefully going to get more matches here in Rome, and then some more in Belgrade, and then get in a top shape for Roland Garros. Thank you.
Novak, I have another surface-related question. You're one of that rare group of players with a career Grand Slam who've managed to figure out ways to be successful on all kinds of surfaces. Some players have more trouble with that. They might be very good on one and not have the same success on one or two others. I'm wondering, for you, what was the hardest part of expanding your repertoire to be able to win everywhere? And what do you think maybe came easily for you in that process?
Well, I think what came easily in that process for me was to motivate myself. I had plenty of motivation to try to win Roland Garros and kind of reach that milestone of winning all 4 slams. I came up short 2-3 times, losing in finals and some long, big, tough matches against Nadal particularly, and then against Wawrinka in 2015, I think. So I think I played 3 finals of Roland Garros in a row. I lost 14 to Nadal, 15 to Wawrinka, and then 16 I beat Andy. When I won in 16, I held all 4 slams, and I had many finals in a row, and I had definitely the best 15 months of my career. Those were the, so to say, the pinnacle moments of my career in terms of results, in terms of how I felt on the court, and how well I played. But little did I know that after that I just struggled a little bit with motivation, to be honest. I thought I would never find myself in that kind of state, but I was, and then I learned something new, obviously. That took a lot out of me. I think I was very devoted and very intense with my desire to win a slam on clay. And I growing up on clay, obviously I never felt uncomfortable playing on clay, but statistically looking, clay is not my most successful surface comparing to hard court or grass, for that matter, in terms of Grand Slams. So I think it was a bit of mental, bit of, it's just a bit of luck, I think, as well. It was probably more mental than physical, I think, at that stage, with coming up short for 4 or 5 years, being in finals and semifinals, and just needing that extra step to clinch the title. Gave me every single season more drive, and I think more hunger to get to where I wanted to be and hold that Roland Garros title. But at the same time, when I finally reached it, I felt a huge joy, content, and relief. But at the same time, also exhaustion. So it took really a lot out of me, and I kind of, for a year and a half, had to recover in terms of emotions, and I had an elbow issue and everything. So I felt basically in 2018 that I got back on track. But yeah, I think tennis for that reason is a very unique sport, because you constantly have to be flexible to adapt and to adjust to new conditions and new surfaces, indoor, outdoor, wind, no wind, playing during the day or under the lights, and we just it's so diverse that if you want to be a contender for the top spot in rankings, you have to be able to play equally well on all surfaces under all conditions, and be consistent with your results. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And because the level of tennis, quality of tennis is really high these days.
Last to English, Andrew.
Hey Novak, when you have a rain suspension like that, and you sort of get an idea that it's going to be a little bit, I'm just curious, how do you spend the time? Are you going over every little detail of the match with your team? Are you taking out the Uno cards? How do you sort of spend all of that?
We played social game. It was not Uno. It was Parchisi. I don't know. That's what they call it in Spanish, I guess. I don't know what it's called in English. But we do play that daily now. So we try to sort of say kill some time with that. And in this kind of circumstances, you really don't know when you're gonna go back on the court. Every half an hour it's a checkpoint, and they will let you know whether the match is postponed, or they're gonna call it, or they're just gonna call it a night, and then you have to go to the hotel. So also with eating and whether you rest or you get some sleep or not, or you really have to feel yourself and know what's best for you, because sometimes if you fall asleep and wake up, maybe you just it takes time to get those engines moving. But I was awake. I was listening to some music, talked to my coach about about his observation of my game and what needs to be done better. And but we also had some fun. I spoke to my kids. So there's always something to do. So I was definitely not bored.
The last one, Cindy.
Yeah, no, but interesting to hear you talk about sort of losing top. And I'm wondering if you can understand how Dominic's team felt after he won the U.S. Open and sort of his lack of motivation and focus at the beginning of this year. And by the way, we call it Parcheesi in the United States too.
Oh, great. Awesome. I don't know what is exactly, obviously the case of Dominic and why he felt that way, but I can relate. I mean, I understand. Obviously, these kind of circumstances that we are living right now in the world are different from, back 5 years when I was experiencing that period, or maybe a crisis of motivation a bit. But for me, it was a completely different situation in terms of achieving everything, but then realizing that all that I have achieved professionally doesn't necessarily guarantee me to have the time that I want with the close ones, or the time for myself or some other things that I would like to enjoy in life. So I had to really sacrifice everything to get to that point, and I did. And then after that, I was just I as any other human being, I felt a need to devote myself to certain other things, family and some other projects and other things, and just maybe cool off the steam a little bit, because when you are on a roll and constantly playing on the road, more or less every week, it just if you're winning a lot, that obviously gives you the confidence and you feel like you're flying mentally and you're pumped. But at the same time, it just, when everything ends and when you reach that goal, you just feel like deflated balloon in a way. You just feel you have to recharge, and then if you have to reset very quickly, which happens all the time in tennis schedule, you have to go for a tournament in a week or two time. That's not enough. For me, it wasn't enough. So that's why it took a bit more time, and I was just kind of finding myself, finding that balance between the court and private life. And after a while I found it, but it's all a journey. It's all a process of realizing what's best for you.